Behind the Red Line, Episode 16. Maury Travis, the man who turned his basement into a hunting ground. Some killers hide in the woods. Some stalk highways. Some hunt in the dark corners of forgotten cities. But once in a while, a predator emerges who doesn't just kill. He documents. He records. He turns suffering into something he wants to watch again. In the suburbs of St. Louis, Missouri, in an ordinary-looking neighborhood of small homes, trimmed lawns, and quiet nights, there was a basement no one knew about. A basement where a man hid his true face behind the lens of a camera. A basement where women walked in, but never walked out. From 2000 to 2002, Maury Travis terrorized the streets of St. Louis, targeting women the city failed to protect, luring them into his home, and filming what he did behind closed doors. Police never imagined they were dealing with a killer who kept his own evidence, or that his obsession with control would eventually expose him. This is the story of a man who disguised himself as a helpful neighbor, a polite coworker, a quiet face in a crowd, while secretly living a double life inside a suburban home that hid horror beneath the floorboards. This is Behind the Red Line, Episode 16. Maury Travis, the Basement Hunter. St. Louis in the early 2000s was divided. Nightlife near downtown clubs. Old neighborhoods full of generational families. And then the vulnerable corridors, motels, abandoned lots, bus stops, and dimly lit streets where survival sex work was common, addiction was rampant, and resources were scarce. For women living on the edge, St. Louis was a maze of risk. Little police protection, underfunded shelters, drug corridors, dangerous customers, neighborhoods where people watched but didn't speak. This is the world Maury Travis knew well. He wasn't part of these communities, but he understood how they worked. He understood who would be missed and who wouldn't. He understood that if he offered a ride, a warm place, a promise, or a little money, the city's most vulnerable women would get in his car. He wasn't motivated by money, not drugs, not desperation. He was motivated by domination, by control, and by filmmaking. Maury Travis worked normal jobs, wore normal clothes, paid his bills. Neighbors said he seemed quiet and respectful, the type of man you'd never look at twice. He was clean, polite, kept to himself, but behind closed doors, he created a different world. A world where he ruled every second. A world where he rehearsed fantasies. A world built on fear and filmed for replay. His basement became a stage, a set, a recording studio, a hidden universe where he controlled every detail. He had props, routines, scripts in his mind. He wanted power, and he wanted a record of it. Between 2000 and 2002, women began vanishing from the north and east parts of St. Louis. Some struggled with addiction. Some did sex work to survive. Some were houseless or couch surfing. Some were mothers trying to get through another day. Their families reported them missing, often hearing, "She'll turn up. She's probably out. She's an adult. Maybe she left." But these women didn't just leave. Someone was targeting them, choosing them, and taking them to a house no one suspected. This part must remain YouTube safe, so we will speak only in tone, not in graphic detail. What is known is this: Maury Travis filmed himself controlling his victims. He recorded their fear. He recorded himself manipulating them emotionally, psychologically, physically. He wanted souvenirs, not material ones, but digital memories. He didn't film for money. He didn't share the tapes. He filmed for himself, because in his mind, watching control was as important as having it. When bodies began appearing in wooded areas and abandoned lots around St. Louis County, detectives noticed patterns. Similar victim backgrounds, similar disposal locations, similar time gaps, similar signs of control. The media labeled it the St. Louis serial killer. But evidence was thin. Witness statements varied. Victims often had transient lives. Investigations lacked funding. Databases weren't properly connected. A predator was operating freely, and he knew he was invisible. In 2002, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch ran an article about the potential serial killer. Maury Travis read it. He didn't like how the media described him. He didn't like the details. He didn't like the narrative. So he did something few serial killers ever do. He wrote a letter to the newspaper. Inside it was taunting language, corrections to the article, cryptic clues, and a map printout. A map printout that police would use to trace the killer. He didn't realize the map's software encoded location data inside the file, a tiny piece of digital information leading directly to a suburban home in Ferguson, Missouri. Maury Travis had exposed himself with arrogance. The map led investigators to his front door. When investigators entered the home, they found a meticulously organized basement, items linking multiple victims, evidence of planning, evidence of premeditation, and videotapes that would forever change the case. The tapes confirmed what police feared. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't sloppy. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated, rehearsed, filmed. A private movie only Travis intended to watch. Maury Travis wasn't what people expected. He wasn't wild. He wasn't visibly dangerous. He didn't flaunt violence. He didn't draw attention. He was controlled, precise, intelligent, patient. But underneath that calm exterior was a man obsessed with domination, a man who believed he deserved absolute power over life and death. He kept trophies, but not the kind found in most cases. His trophies were digital, replayable, preserved. He wanted to remember. He wanted to relive. He wanted control long after the act was over. When confronted with overwhelming evidence, including the tapes, Travis didn't confess. He didn't explain. He didn't deny. He didn't fight. Instead, he took the one action he could still control. He ended his own life in jail before trial. He refused to face the families, refused to answer questions, refused to reveal how many victims he truly had. Some believe he killed at least 12. Others believe it could be 20 or more, because the tapes didn't show everything, and Travis didn't keep all his memories on film. Several victims remain unidentified. Some families still have no closure. Some women who vanished may never be connected to Travis officially. For the families who did get answers, the truth was a wound that never healed. They learned their daughter, mother, sister, friend had been targeted by a man who planned everything with chilling precision, a man who didn't see them as human, who saw them only as roles in his private fantasies. These women mattered. Their lives were valuable. Their memories deserve more than silence. Tonight, we speak their truth. We honor their humanity. We confront the predator who tried to erase them. On the outside, Maury Travis was ordinary, but the basement told a different story, a story of control, a story of obsession, a story of women who deserved protection, compassion, and justice, not the fate they were given. His tapes were meant to immortalize his dominance, but in the end, they immortalized his downfall. And while he escaped the courtroom, he did not escape the truth. We remember the women. We speak for them. And we never let their stories fade into the shadows of a killer's house. This is Behind the Red Line. Episode 16. Maury Travis, the Basement Hunter.